Voice Coaches Radio. Everything voiceover.
And welcome to this week's edition of Voice Coaches Radio. I am Josh Heller. She's Marissa Lanchak. We are delighted to have you joining us here this week. Marissa, how you doing?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pumped. I'm feeling ready.
Whoa. Oh, yeah. I mean, you need to get pumped up for this show, right? You gotta get jacked up for this show.
Well, I just never know what you're going to throw at me.
That's how I like it.
Are you recovered from a couple weeks ago?
I mean, it's a relative term, but I'm hanging in there. I'm hanging in there.
Just making sure.
Yeah, you know, and I'm hanging in there. Still waiting to hear back on the on the results yet. He wanted a couple other people to take a listen to it for him, and I said that's completely fine.
It was a lot of audio to listen to.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's your book.
A lot of audio.
Do whatever you want. But it's good. I've actually taken a week or so off. I haven't auditioned for anything. I haven't done any recording.
Is it because you're scarred?
It's not.
Are you in recovery mode?
Hypothetically, yes.
Are you healing?
Honestly, I just needed some time. Like literally, it's nice to put my son to bed at night and be like, I'm just going to read a book, and I am. I'm reading a book just for pleasure, and it's an actual like physical copy of a book. So I'm not looking at a screen, which is merciful because that started to get old very, very quickly.
I'm sure.
But no, I'm reading a book about a wolf.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not as weird as you think, okay?
I mean,
it's not as weird as you think.
I wasn't trying to judge you by any means.
You were holding it back. I could tell.
I was just wondering what exact genre is it? Is it sci-fi? What is it?
No, it's nonfiction. It's about an actual wolf, like a real life wolf.
Right.
It's called The Reign of Wolf 21. It's the saga of Yellowstone's legendary Druid pack by a guy named Rick McIntyre. He was, I'm not sure exactly what his job was, but he followed them, these wolf packs in Yellowstone for decades.
So you're kind of like reading National Geographic.
I mean, I think that's essentially, yeah, probably like something like that. Yeah, but like it's super cool. Like he was an alpha, and it's about his rise. But it's so cool because it's like literally like things are happening. I'm like, they're like people. They're like real life people. Like they have arguments, they have like marriages, they have like battles. I'm like, it's super cool.
I always say this about my pets; they're just kids.
They are, right?
They really are.
They totally are. So like Wolf 21, he has 3 of them that he's written about different wolves. The Rise of Wolf 8, which is his first one, which I haven't read, and he has another one coming out at some point soon, I imagine. I don't know. I think it's like the Redemption of Wolf. I don't know. They don't have names. Like they have numbers because they're wolves. Like, but they're like actual like wolves. It's like a wolf.
But like who numbered them? They could have named them.
I mean, yeah. I know.
You want to name it Mikey? Come on.
But like, check this out. Like, ready? Like, Wolf 21, leader of the Druid pack, who is known for his unwavering bravery, his unusual benevolence. Unlike other alphas, he never killed a defeated rival male, and his fierce commitment to his mate, the formidable Wolf 42.
Again, why are we numbering them?
Why? I don't know. It's probably easier than naming them. Like, what would you name an alpha? Like, you're Bob.
Maybe.
You're Wolf Bob. Like,
I do use Bob an awful lot in classes.
I mean,
Bob's a problem.
That's
okay?
fair.
Just
that's
so
the
you
thing.
know.
Wolf 21 is not a problem, but it's really interesting. And I'm a nerd. Like I don't care. So if you're interested in wolves, and I wanted a wolf for so long when I was a kid. Do you ever watch Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman? This is random.
No.
No? Oh, you missed out. Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, starring the inimitable Jane. Oh my goodness, what's her name?
I don't know. I know exactly who you mean, though.
Jane. Oh my God, this is embarrassing. Jane.
Google.
I'm working on it as we speak. I'm literally working on it as we speak. Jane Seymour. That's her name. Jane Seymour. Thank you.
I was going to say that, but
Jane
I didn't
Seymour.
think it was right.
Oh yeah, Jane Seymour, the inimitable Jane Seymour. I used to watch it. It was part of our Saturday night watching schedule. That when I was a kid, we used to watch Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, Early Edition, which was on after that, which is about a guy who had a newspaper from the following day, so he knew the future and saved people's lives. Occasionally, before that, it was Touched by an Angel. Don't tell me you didn't watch Touched by an Angel. How dare you?
No, I didn't.
How dare you?
No, like all this,
so
like
much.
Dr. Quinn and Walker, Texas Ranger.
That was the last one we used to watch. When
yeah,
I got a little older,
I wasn't
later.
into that stuff. I don't know.
Walker, Texas Ranger was amazing, but Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman was it was good. But anyway, one of the characters, a guy named Sully, I believe. He was Native American, and he had a wolf. He had a pet wolf, and I wanted that. I still want that. I don't even have a dog. I wanted a wolf. I still want a wolf, and I really wanted to, and I almost did. You know how you could like adopt like animals,
Yeah.
like, not like real life, but like
For
you can
just
like
10
adopt
cents a day.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Sarah McLachlan.
You're welcome.
And in the arms of the
Copyright. Stop it.
Sorry. And so, you know, I wanted to adopt a wolf. So anyway, that's what I'm doing now. I'm reading about a wolf. So
Oh, I thought you were just going to say, now I'm adopting a wolf.
no, I'm not, but I want to. I'll tell you what, when I finish this, I don't know if it's still a thing. I'm sure you could still adopt wolves,
Probably.
right? I guess.
With the
I don't know.
Wildlife Federation or
Yeah.
something.
And they'll send you like a little plush wolf toy.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you, here's a picture of your wolf. And like, oh, what's his name? And they're like, his name
21.
is 21. And I'll be like, oh, the wolf 21? So yeah.
Could I
so
have his paw graph?
I mean, I don't know if they got that close to him, but yeah. So then I'm going to have to go to Yellowstone to meet the wolves. I'm going to be eaten by a wolf. Essentially, that's what I'm saying. That's what's happening here.
Well,
and become a werewolf.
I'm going to put all the positive vibes your way.
Thank you. Thank you.
welcome.
So that's what I've been doing with my life. What have you been doing?
Listening to you talk about your life.
That's sad for both of us, really,
Yeah.
for both of us.
Sorry.
So yeah, so now you know a little bit more about me and how cool I am.
The coolest.
And how cool I've always been. Yeah. So what can I say? What can I say? Anywho, we had an email. Someone listened.
Wait, we have fan mail?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's a fan mail, but someone
Call it
listened.
fan mail.
Someone listened and sent us an email with
One
questions
person
and things
listened.
like
Oh,
that.
thank you.
And so Kiana has sent us an email with some questions. So I figured we'd answer them on the air because it's easier than responding to the email. No, I figured we'd answer them on the air, and then we'll see if she actually does listen or not. Right? That we're
This
gonna
is your
find out.
test,
That we're gonna
Kiana.
find out. Like if she's like, "Oh my God, I heard you answer my question," we'd be like, "You actually are listening to us," or if it's like, "Why haven't you guys responded to my email?" I'll be like, "You don't
Because
really
we
listen.
did on
You
the
don't really
pod.
listen." So
Thanks.
she said, "Hi, Josh and Marisha. Hi, Kiana. Thank you both for your advice on the podcast."
Oh, you're so welcome.
Josh, I appreciate your music background. Yeah.
Shaky at best.
Most people probably don't. So let's see. A couple questions for us. Question number 1. Do you ever connect with a client or production team members on LinkedIn? Would they prefer a demo instead? What is a good time to connect with them? So as far as LinkedIn is concerned, it's a tool. It's a tool like anything else, and it can certainly be helpful. Obviously, if you're reaching out to someone through LinkedIn, I think you still absolutely need to have a demo. Now, maybe you have a link from your LinkedIn page to your website, which has your demo on it. Or maybe you actually uploaded your demo directly to LinkedIn. I don't know if you can do that.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, yeah,
If you
you
have a
can,
link
see?
to it, you can.
So there you go. You can. Good. 'Cause I'm sure. So you're certainly still going to want that because they're going to want, not just to see what you've done and who you are, but they're also going to want to hear you. So you're certainly still going to want to have the demo. Now, as far as reaching out to them through LinkedIn versus just kind of sending out an email, to be honest with you, I think it probably just depends on the person receiving it, how they like to see things and how active they are on LinkedIn. And on other social media, things like that. Some people are much more than others. If they are active on it, then absolutely reach out to them that way. I think that's a perfectly fine idea. And again, it tells them a little bit more about you, but make sure you still do have that demo somewhere there so that they are able to listen to that. Because ultimately, that is, no matter what you say in there and the different things that you've done and how impressive they may or may not be, they're going to want to hear you. They're going to have to hear you. So that's my thought on that.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of LinkedIn, to be honest, but I feel like out of all of the social medias, for what I've done primarily, which has been radio, like I've always connected in a much better way on almost every other social media platform. But I know it comes in handy for people for all sorts of jobs. Like I've had people get recruited off of LinkedIn without even trying.
Oh, my wife, she works in HR now, but prior to that, she did recruiting for a financial company, and she used to scour LinkedIn and help me make my LinkedIn page because mine was pretty not very good, and it's better now. So there you go.
I think it just depends on the person, and it depends
Absolutely.
like the field also as well. So if you've got a lot of people that you could find in this kind of voiceover field, then it could be beneficial.
Absolutely. Again, make sure you still do have your demo there, though. Reading out loud. I really feel like I'm learning to read. I mean, I hope you already knew how to read, but good. I'm glad. That's fantastic. I noticed when I started recording myself, I stumbled over my words more. How do you move past that? This is going to sound trite, but keep reading. Like,
Yeah,
honestly,
it's
that's
practice.
really what it comes down to. You're not slipping up because you're recording. You may think that. It may be in your head a little bit, but that's really not what it's coming down to. So it's all about continuing that out loud reading, continuing to to improve upon that, and get to the point where it's not going to matter if you're recording or if you're not. It's just going to be completely muscle memory, and that's what we need to get to.
And I don't want to like go against what you just said, but I will say this: like when you are doing something you are new at, and all of a sudden you know that you've pressed the record button, it is a very subconscious like you have like some inner nerves that you might not even be aware of. And I know that just because like I do songwriting too, and I've always been very scared to share any of it with people. I've shared it with very few people, and it's because when I go to press record, I just stiffen right up because I'm so used to being silly that being serious is not like, it's just not me. So, and it's like sharing your diary too at the same point. So like that has always been, that's what I've noticed for myself. So that could be slightly for her just because it's new.
Sure, I can see that.
But that is something that becomes a lot easier once you get going. And it's because you're going to get comfortable with what you're doing.
Yeah, and I mean, and the fact of the matter is, at some point, having that record button pressed, being in the booth, it's not going to be as big a deal. It just won't because you'll have done it so much. It's never, going to feel like you're in your room by yourself, just kind of practicing. But there is no question that it is always going to be something, right? It's always going to, you want to get to the point where it's not, are you recording? Yeah, no, who cares? Right. Even for me, even, doing those audiobooks when I go into my little closeted studio area, I used to make a big deal out of it. It was big song and dance, like get ready, get prepared, do this, set up that, guess this. And now I'm just eventually like, just get in there and just hit record and let's go. Let's move. Like, come on, we got stuff to do. So it will get easier. No question about it. It will get easier. And a lot of that's just going to come with practice. But a lot of that is also going to come with time spent recording.
Yep, practice, time, skill building, comfortability.
Another question. With punctuation such as parentheses and quotes, do you actually say quote unquote? Or is this where I'm supposed to emphasize these words with my tone? So in general, what I have found with quotes is that for the most part, I have not been asked or they have not wanted me to say quote unquote. It's going to depend on the situation. It's also going to depend on the producer of the project and what they're looking for. But I don't think I've ever had a quote unquote situation in my time.
Now, like the one book that I've done, when they had quotes, they were like so and so said.
Yeah.
They would say like, so and so was thinking. Like,
in the fiction book I just did, I mean, there's dialogue in there, and you don't really do that for dialogue. Now, if it is there as kind of like an air quote type of situation, what I would do more instead of actually saying quote unquote is almost as if you were doing air quotes. Of course, they can't see you do that, I'm aware. But, that kind of little bit of emphasis on those words as if you were doing air quotes, right? So you can certainly make those air quote sounds without actually saying quote unquote. Same thing with parentheses. Usually it's going to be kind of an aside. It's going to be something extra. It's going to be something, said a little bit differently, but I don't think you necessarily need to unless you're asked to, quantify it with quote unquote or open parenthesis, close parenthesis, which is I've never heard in my life.
So I think when it comes down to it, it kind of is what she asked about tone. It's utilizing the emphasis and pitch in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. Last one, warm-ups. Josh, I appreciate your acapella experience. Do you, though? Do you? do you people appreciate my acapella experience?
I sure do.
Thank you. So you love Pitch Perfect. Me too. Sang in choirs. Outstanding. Now, here's the question. Do you find that warming up vocal cords similar to singing can help, or is it too much strain? And Marissa, what warm-ups do you find helpful? I found the tips. Obviously, there are tips in the in the materials that we have. Now, let me preface this by saying that if you were to go back to Voice Coaches Radio, I believe it is back in January. It is January the 29th, episode 464. Okay, that's episode
got real specific there.
464.
Yeah.
I literally talk about, this is before your time.
I mean, yeah, this is BM before
Yeah,
Mark.
because your intro was March 19th. I'm
know.
looking at the master list here. So this is pre-Marissa. So this is just me. This is Josh flying solo. And I talk all about warm-ups, different types of warm-ups, different things you can do, and the benefit of them. So you can definitely go back and take a listen to that. Kind of in a nutshell, though, the answer is yes. I do warm-ups the same way I used to do them when I would be singing. Starting with kind of lip buzzing, starting with just kind of trying to get a little bit higher, a little bit lower, just kind of stretching it out a little bit. I don't always do it, but I did find, especially recently with the kind of massive amount of reading I was doing in the short amount of time, my voice was starting to take a hit a bit, and I would need to warm myself up. And it also depends on when you're recording. I know, Marissa, you and I talk, we joke that, in the mornings, we don't sound the same as we do in the evenings.
My voice is not a morning.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing is people have always been like, so why don't you do morning radio? And I'm like, have you heard me in the morning?
Because you wouldn't be able to understand what I'm saying.
But I'm also wondering if my body reacts to what my schedule has always been. So, like, I did afternoons, like, for radio for a really long time. I was on the night show for a while. I did overnights. So, like, my body is just used to being more awake in the afternoon and night. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's probably why I struggle to wake up in the morning. But I will say this, too. I mean, anybody that's listened to this podcast knows that my voice does not wake up on Fridays for sure, usually. But, as I was starting here, because I was using my voice way more than I ever had, just teaching classes and doing the podcast, doing my own podcast, all these things that I remember one day specifically, I thought I was okay, but I had said nothing at all in the morning because I live alone. So I was on my way here and I realized because I went to order a coffee or something, I was like, oh dear God, I have no voice. So the whole way here, I did vocal warm-ups like you were just saying, and it helped slightly.
Yeah.
I was still squeaky as all heck, but it definitely helped compared to what it was.
No, and I think that's important. And so the answer is yeah. I mean, I think both of us do find warm-ups helpful in certain situations. And again, if you have experience with warm-ups, for your singing, then that's a great thing to lean upon. Because you already have some experience, but like I said, go back to that episode back in the day, back in January. So again, that's January 29th. It's episode 464.
Sorry, I won't be there.
That's true. This is before we were graced with your presence, and our lives were emptier. Our lives are emptier.
You can just say that you're blessed now. It's fine.
It's true. It's true. Hard to be stressed when you're blessed.
Hey.
It does go into more specific examples of that, kind of showing what I personally do, and certainly that's something you can copy, but again, if you have experience, with vocal warm-ups, honestly, it's no different, whether it's singing. You say that, is that going to be too much strain? I don't know what you do for your vocal warm-ups when you're singing. And if that is too much strain, and if it is, probably not a great warm-up, but just saying. So no, it should not be too much strain, depending. But you can take a listen back to that episode and find out. By the way, if you have any questions that we haven't answered, obviously you can email us, like I said, like Kiana did, and thank you, Kiana, for reaching out to us. But you can always do that. But if you have a lot of free time, you can scour the Voice Coaches Radio archives, and I'm sure you could find episodes that touch on pretty much every topic you can imagine. I'd like to say we're breaking new ground. I don't think we are, Marissa. I really don't think we are.
Oh, come on. Sure we are.
Recycled. It's like music.
No,
it's like
you
music.
are. You're being hard on us, and I don't think that's okay.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Don't be our own worst critic. That's awful.
I mean,
I don't want to start my weekend that way.
Sorry, we're amazing.
Come on,
we're awesome.
Yeah,
we're so good. We're so good. This episode is great. So that would be our answer to that, Kiana. So thank you so much for reaching out, and thank you to all of you who have reached out and had questions. Some of which we've been able to.
And please send more fan mail.
Yeah. Okay. Fan mail is good. Questions are good as well. That we'd be happy to discuss here on the podcast, and then quiz you to see if you've been listening or not. Because we're not sure if you are. We're not sure.
That's why the fan mail's important.
It is. It makes us feel good about ourselves.
That
it makes
too.
us feel good about ourselves. But no, definitely reach on out. Josh at voicecoaches.com. That's the quickest and easiest way to reach out to us. Josh at voicecoaches.com. Get in touch with me or Marissa or anyone else here at Voice Coaches. And we're happy to answer those questions. Or if you have any topics that you want us to cover, certainly happy to do that as well. Got some things in the works from some emails that we've gotten previously as well that I'm looking to get out sooner than later, which will be good. And then next week, we're going to hear from another one of our newbies here. By the way, I'm pretty sure the average age in this establishment dropped like 20 years.
I do feel old now.
Yeah, with like the
Right?
new addition to the new people, especially Katie and Jordan. Like they're like talking about like, oh yeah, when I graduated college a couple years ago, and I'm like,
A couple years ago.
my word.
Oh, you crazy kids.
oh my word.
I'm just
Like,
glad I don't look my age. That's all I'm
I
getting
mean,
at, you know?
I do.
No, you don't. It's just the beard, my man.
It's gray. It's a gray beard.
Only if you look close.
I mean, thank you. So although I will say we're doing a lot of classes on Zoom now. Ooh, that is not a great look for me.
I love it.
Oh, that is.
It's like I'm playing for the camera. Bring it
every
on.
gray is just accentuated. Also, I have to like wear clothes.
Oh,
which is
yeah.
weird.
What's that about,
I don't
man?
know. Like literally, what I'll do is just like put a button-down shirt on.
No pants.
No pants. No pants. If you're seeing my pants, like what is happening in the Zoom session? No pants. Why? Pants are over. I'm not wearing pants right now.
What?
I
What?
am.
We're in the office, bro.
I had to. So what is happening here? Anyway, so fantastic. So again, thank you,
Freaky
Kiana.
Friday.
Thank you for if anyone's still listening, and I honestly wouldn't blame you if you're not. If anyone's still listening, thanks so much for listening to us this week and every week here on Voice Coaches Radio. Marissa, thank you, I think.
Thanks for having pants on.
Hey, listen, you know what? It's the least I could do. It's literally the least I could do. Kiana, thanks for your question. And again, love to hear your questions, comments, concerns, topics you'd like us to discuss, guests you'd like us to have us try to get. Josh at voicecoaches.com is how we can do that. Again, we'll hear from the newest member of the team, Jordan, next week. But of course, we'll be here as well. All right, so hopefully you're tuning on there. Marissa, thanks so much. Great to chat with you again.
Right
Get some
back at
vocal
ya.
warm-ups in so we can do this again next week. All right, so thanks so much for tuning in, everyone, and until next time, so long, everyone.
Visit voicecoaches.com for more voiceover news and